I'm Francesca Maxime.
And I'm Matt McClure, and this is Currents.
Missionaries in our backyard.
Praying with the person or speaking with them about God's love for them.
After 70 years, the powerful memories of a Holocaust survivor.
The Gestapo, he say, you know what Auschwitz is? Yeah, I know what Auschwitz. That's where you go.
And watch out, Michelangelo, you've got some competition on Long Island. Well, good evening. The numbers are pretty grim. According to a recent report, more than 62,000 people in New York State don't have a place to call home, and many of them are just forced to live out there on the streets.
That's right, but thankfully there are people out there on the streets doing what they can to help the homeless, and we were lucky to meet some of those folks recently.
We sure were. It's a group called LAMP. It's called the Lay Apostolic Ministries for the Poor. That's the acronym for it. It's a Catholic mission that's trying to offer folks not only a home, but also a little bit of hope, too.
Yeah, and LAMP recently held a weekend titled Under Mary's Mantle for those interested in working with this unique ministry. We actually stopped by Holy Cross Church on 42nd Street, just across from the Port Authority bus terminal in Manhattan, to see what keeps this lamp burning.
My wife Lynn and I began LAMP Ministries in 1981 because we were personally looking for an avenue where we could serve among the materially poor, but with an emphasis on evangelization, because we felt that most outreaches from the Catholic Church among the poor are certainly scriptural, they're corporal works of mercy, but we feel that they frequently don't incorporate the more explicit faith component of praying with the person or speaking with them about God's love for them, or helping them know their own goodness. And we visit homeless shelters, we serve in materially poor Catholic parishes, we serve at Goldwater Hospital on Roosevelt Island, that's primarily for the severely disabled poor. We have the Lamp Cafe, the canteen truck that we take out 4 days a week to the South Bronx.
The response is so wonderful. People will, no matter what they're doing, or the fact that they're homeless, the fact that they're suffering in that way, they will drop with their concerns and they will come. There's many times that I want to kneel when I hear a homeless person share about the Lord. Here they are, they have nothing, but they trust in God. And what a witness to me. You know, I'm not, you know, by God's grace, I'm okay. I get up in the morning, I have a place to live. But folks who have nothing will share that they love the Lord, they trust in the Lord. They say, you know, he got me up in the morning. I can take that for granted often, but that's what we receive.
The applicants to LAMP come from around the country. We have people from Texas, Kansas, the Bronx, different parts of the country. We're not large. We have maybe 20 full-time people serving at a time. But they have to have had some experience in parish and church ministry for us to accept them.
I thought I would be an evangelist in parishes, you know, in the suburbs and on YouTube, and so, but now, you know, I think you need to start evangelizing the materially poor, because then they help you become more humble, because you need humility in order to teach people about the faith.
It's interesting because New York City is different from any other place, as you know. Hi, this is for you, God bless. In that these are Divine Mercy cards that we're handing out to people. And as you can see, it's a picture of our Lord. And it's interesting because where we normally give out these cards is a little bit North Bronx, and just about everyone would take a card there. Here, I'm surprised that, you know, maybe 1 out of 10 people will take one.
This is my second day, but I am coming back in September for a year. I love people and I love to care for them, and this is a place where my spirit is moved, my heart is moved.
Our mission is for ourselves to be in synchronization with the heartbeat of Jesus, which is a heart of compassion for those who are poor. So and that requires a lot of a prayer on our part, to be one with the heartbeat of Jesus and his compassion for the poor and those in need. So we want to kind of, in our own spirit, plug into that and be an instrument of his, as we are able, through his grace, to help people know his love and his compassion.
Tom Schuring there from Lamp Catholic Ministries. And you know what really strikes me about this and the work that they do is you hear over and over again, not only are we here to help people, they are fulfilled in doing that. The woman said, "This is where my heart gets fulfilled."
Yeah, it is in giving that we receive.
That's right, that's right. And it's greater to give than to receive, but you receive a gift back at the same time.
Absolutely. Well, stay tuned. There's much more current straight ahead. Religious groups sound off to President Obama on health care reform. We have that, the rest of the day's headlines, coming up.
And American seminarians get a taste of Rome.
The food has just been very good. We've had pasta constantly.
Welcome back to Currents. I'm Matt McClure.
And I'm Francesca Maxime. Coming up a little bit later, the endurance of a Holocaust survivor. But first, let's take a look at the day's headlines. Town hall meetings, email campaigns, and today, even a webcast. President Obama pitched his health care reform package to a group of religious organizations in an online conference call. Meanwhile, the U.S. Conference of Catholic Bishops has set up its own website on the issue. The bishops state that the current system needs reform. They also confirm their opposition to any plan that includes abortion coverage. Well, we have posted more information about all that on our blog. You can head over to netny.net/currents and just click on Riding the Wave. Singer Celine Dion is expecting a second child with her husband, Renee Angelil. As with their first in 2000, the couple again used in vitro fertilization, or IVF. Dion comes from a Canadian Catholic family of 14 kids and had her first child baptized. IVF is not sanctioned, though, by the Catholic Church, and the Church calls this method ethically unacceptable and teaches that children should be conceived naturally within marriage.
A delegation of American Catholic bishops visiting Cuba is calling on President Obama to end the economic embargo against the island nation. Orlando Bishop Thomas Wensky says U.S. church leaders are glad Washington has relaxed travel restrictions on Cuban Americans with family still in Cuba. But he says much more has to be done. The economic embargo was imposed in 1962 as a way to weaken Cuba's communist government. Those in favor of the embargo say lifting it would sustain a government that does not permit dissent. In the year for priests, the Vatican will publish a new document on seminaries. An archbishop at the Holy See tells the Vatican's newspaper that the text is planned for release next June. And some seminarians won't have to go far to get the first copies of that document. As we hear from Rome Reports, some future American priests are getting the opportunity to study in Rome.
It's hard to miss the breadth of Catholicism that permeates the city of Rome. If you're a seminarian, it's hard to think of a better place to study than the heart of the church itself. Studying in Rome is just what this group of young seminarians from around the United States came to do in the Eternal City.
Every seminarian should come to Rome at least once.
Father Eric Nielsen is the director of the Rome Experience, a program that gives 18 seminarians from various parts of the U.S. the chance to take classes in Rome for 6 weeks.
Because you do need to see the universality of the church. You need to see the beauty of the church that exists here in Rome. You need to understand the historical nature of the church and really see it tangibly, to touch the history of the church.
I'm not just a Catholic, I'm a Roman Catholic. And understanding the importance of that has given me confidence going back.
Ryan O'Neill is 4.5 weeks into his own Rome experience. He says being here has played an important role in the shaping of his vocation.
Seeing the importance of the Latin heritage, the language, the culture, and not just that, but the beauty and the art and the history of what Rome is and how that can be a unifying aspect and a culturally enriching aspect. As a Catholic, I always just only knew the parish or the diocese that I lived in.
While the young men spend most of their time in the classroom, they've also put aside time to visit famous catacombs and churches. And they've also attended the Pope's general audience. And although their 6 weeks have been mainly concerned with their formation, when in Rome, they haven't resisted doing as the Romans do.
The food has just been very good. We've had pasta constantly, and that hasn't been a problem for me.
This group of seminarians is a real melting pot. The students have come from Colorado, Wisconsin, and Tennessee to share a unique experience in a very special place.
Well, some valuable experience there and some good eating. Told you I picked a bad time to go on a diet for those seminarians.
Anytime you're in Italy, you're going to do that.
Right.
Good eating. Stay tuned. There's much more current straight ahead. Coming up, a tale of hope and survival in World War II Poland.
SS told me once to say, "What do you think? Where's your God?" I said, "My God is inside."
Well, coming up pretty soon, September 1st actually, will mark the 70th anniversary of the Nazi invasion of Poland. Well, that dark moment in history remains an all too vivid memory for the Queen's man you're about to meet.
Michael Preisler spent almost 4 years in Auschwitz. He was beaten, he was intimidated, and he was also forced into hard labor. And at one point, he only weighed 100 pounds. But this Polish Catholic never lost his faith in God.
That's right, as we're about to hear. Now, 7 decades later, Michael Preisler is still telling his story to help others understand the full extent of Nazi atrocities. And we do want to warn you, some of what you're about to see and hear is graphic.
In December 13, 1939, the Germans, they have on the list our names, and they just came at 2 o'clock in the morning, midnight. They came over there and they knock on the door and they say, "Alles raus," that means all out. The Gestapo, he say, "You know what Auschwitz is?" "Yeah, I know what Auschwitz. That's where you go." When you say Auschwitz, everybody was trimmed, because you know Auschwitz, 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 everybody knows. The day when I came to the camp, I went to confession. I remember I was so scary because some priest came over there too, and I just confession. But then I don't know what happened to the priest. When we went out from the train, they started beating you up with the clubs and everything, you know, with the head and everything. And they look at us and they say, "Any Jews here? Stand up. Any priest? Stand up." They give you numbers. They give you our Auschwitz number here. They tell us, "You forget your name. You have no name. You have a number. There's no way out from here. Only through the chimney," pointed to the crematorium chimney. "That's the only way where you can get out." Faith doesn't mean anything. You cannot even have a medal or a cross. SS told me once to say, "What do you think? Where's your God?" I said, "My God is inside." He say, "You still believe it?" "Yes." He say, "You know who's my God? Hitler. Hitler is my God. That's what I believe in." They were shooting us just like animals. They were killing people by what? By hundreds. But they do shot in the back, one by one, one by one. Then they put the body on a wagon and pulling to the crematorium. The blood was flowing all over the place. You know, you see this because the blood. In 1945, they were sending all transports to different camps. There were 2,000 people who were marching from Auschwitz to different camps to Silesia. SS say, "If you cannot walk no more, okay, I take care of you." A woman was sitting in the snow with the blood all over the place. Today, I still see this. May 5th, I think, 1945, the German soldiers left. American tanks came, we were so happy over there, we were saved. Now 1945, May 6th, It's my liberation day. It's important to the people that nothing never happen again, the same thing. The people should know. I never forget, and my children also never forget. They killed us, and what we have, we don't even have a compensation. Do we have anything? I lost my college and everything. Do I have anything for them? Did anybody say sorry? Nobody. You went through a lot, but it's happened. Just thank you, God, you know you're safe. You said that God save you, you know, you are not, because you could be dead, you could be shot. But I'm just living with this bad memory from the camp.
And that is Holocaust survivor Michael Preisler, and such a compelling story. I don't know if you've ever been to Auschwitz.
I haven't.
I've been there, and it's so eerie, and it's so, it's just so quiet, and you can just feel the atrocities that took place there. And yet, in some respects, all of the respects that have been paid over the years to all the people who did lose their lives there are also felt as well.
Right, and you know, we can really only imagine what, you know, if we can listen to him describe, you know, the memories that he has from Auschwitz, but we can really only imagine what it was like to actually be there and experience that. I mean, just the horror.
Yeah, well, God bless him. Well, stay tuned. There's much more current straight ahead.
Coming up, a brush with the Bible, how one woman transformed these bare walls.
One side of the hallway was going to be the Old Testament, and the other side was definitely going to be the New Testament.
Well, the Sistine Chapel is, without argument, probably one of the masterpieces, if not the masterpiece, of Western art.
But the Vatican may be a little too far away, I should say, for some people. And Bohemia, Long Island is probably a bit of an easier trip to make.
That's right. Well, a Paris center there, one woman with no formal training has actually created something that has all people of all ages in awe.
I feel that this was totally a guided project. Because I don't have the formal training, I never really researched, if you look costumes and things like that, it's just what I felt was there. I am an artist. I have painted the wall mural here at the Parish Center of St. John Nepomucene Church in Bohemia, New York. When the Parish Center converted the 2 classrooms into office space, we moved over here from the priest residence, and every day I had to walk down this hallway, and it was very, very, very vanilla. And I just decided that I was going to present it to the staff, and they liked the idea very much, and we decided to go with it. This took approximately 4 years and 4 months. I started it when my middle daughter was starting college, and I worked on it continuously with really no break. I did it at least once a week. There were some times that I missed a couple of weeks, but I did, you know, pretty much every week, 1 day a week for 4 years and 4 months. The whole process of the mural was, it took really just one section at a time. Basically, the main idea was to do one side of the hallway was going to be the Old Testament, and the other side was definitely going to be the New Testament. Then what I did was I just took out a block in between each classroom, between each door. I would just work at that 25-foot section at a time. And we would sit in a meeting, myself, Father Jim, and Sister Phyllis Esposito, and we would kind of decide which stories that we wanted to tell. We would put in ones that they were covering through the religious ed program so that the kids would be familiar with them, but also introduce other stories that they wouldn't be as familiar with. Basically, the main goal that I wanted was that it would be an interactive tool that they could use not only that it looks nice, but if kids would come along and look at the pictures, that they might be interested in the story more. And throughout the whole process, I worked, as I said, a little section at a time. I would go home, figure out what we're doing. I would put it on a small piece of paper first, bring it in, make sure that the design was all approved, and then I would transfer up onto the wall, all in pencil, in a 25-foot section at a time, and then I would paint that 25-foot section. At that time, I was already planning the next section, so it was always an ongoing process.
I understand the Bible more with pictures than words because I'm in first grade and I'm learning to read. I read chapter books sometimes, but I can't read all the pages. Sometimes I have trouble. So I like to look for the hidden words in there, in the pictures, and try to read them because they really blend in with the colors.
I am open to wherever the Spirit leads me artistically. So I do have some little projects that I am working on outside of the church area that one day you never know.
Beautiful mural, and I can't get over how cute that little girl is.
She is, I know, she's cute as a button. She really is, and it's so nice because the pictures are so descriptive. They really do tell the story, and so the kids can learn either through them or their Bibles, their kids' Bibles or whatever. The stories within them. So.
Right, exactly. That's it, and that's what the little girl was telling us there.
Saying.
Right. Well, thank you so much for joining us for this episode of Currents. And we want to say a special thank you to our viewers. So to do that, we want to take you out to the ball game. Now, the last time we tried to do this, it didn't quite turn out so well.
Right, I know. I was over there at the Cyclones game over on Coney Island, and I was supposed to throw out the first pitch. I think this is going back a couple weeks anyway. And it was pouring.
Right. Big rivalry game there. I mean, they were playing the Staten Island Yankees, and just everybody and their brother was out there at the ballpark, but it didn't quite get underway.
No, it's unfortunate, but anyway, gonna be there on Tuesday.
Right, now we've got 5 pairs of tickets actually to give away to the Cyclones game. It's actually coming up, as you said, on August the 25th. That is next Tuesday against the Vermont Lake Monsters. And I tell you, minor league baseball teams have some of the best mascots ever. All you have to do to win those, go to our website, netny.net. Click on the Cyclones ad that's there and follow the instructions. So good luck to you and everyone out there.
Yeah, and if anybody wants to help me learn how to pitch in the meantime, that would be good.
She still hasn't learned how, for heaven's sake.
If free tickets aren't enough, obviously you'll see me there. I'll be there to toss out the first pitch. I hope the weather holds up, and I don't want to say you don't want to miss that, but you may not want to miss that.
It's bound to be entertaining anyway.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, that's all for this edition of Currents. Coming up tomorrow, have a heart and reach out to local foster children. That and more tomorrow.
Well, and remember, we are always, I should say, online at netny.net/currents. And we'd also like to hear from you, so you can send us an email anytime drop us a line at currentsny.net. So thank you so much for watching. I'm Francesca Maxime.
And I'm Matt McClure. Have a great night.